Hey, what is up, church? Thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you have been enjoying these Identity in Christ devotionals. Man, we've loved bringing them to you, and we have a great one today. Now, one thing that I love is I love a good superhero movie, action, adventure. But one of the things I love is the origin story, where you get to learn, hey, where did this hero start out? And today we are going to talk about a hero of the faith, Moses, and where Moses begins in the wilderness with the burning bush. Let's get right into it. This is Exodus 3, 1 through 4. It says this: One day Moses was tending the flocks of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led the flocks far into the wilderness and came to Sinai, the mountain of God. There an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the middle of the bush. Moses stared in amazement. Though the bush was engulfed in flames, it did not burn up. "This is amazing," Moses said to himself. "Why isn't that bush burning up? I must go see it." When the Lord saw Moses coming closer to look, God called to him from the middle of the bush and said, "Moses, Moses." Now, as you can imagine, if you were a shepherd, this may seem like kind of a boring job. You know, you're responsible for tending to the sheep, you're leading them to water, you're protecting them from animals, but it's a lot of just watching. So all of a sudden, you are just standing there by yourself and you see a bush on fire. But not only do you see a bush on fire, you see that this bush is not burning up. And so Moses goes closer to investigate it, and then something incredible happens. He hears the voice of the Lord, and it cries out to him, "Moses, Moses." Now, anytime you see a repeated name in the Bible where God calls someone's name twice, what that is a sign of a calling or a commission. What that means is what God is fixing to tell you is very important, and it's going to affect what he's calling you to do. Now, God and Moses continue to have this conversation, and God tells Moses, "Hey, I want you to go back to Egypt, and I want you to set my people free. I have heard their cry, and I want you to be the one to go and set the people free." Now, the problem with this is that Moses had fled from Egypt. He had actually tried to do this on his own before. What happened was Moses was out one day, and Moses was adopted by Pharaoh's daughter. So Moses actually grew up in the palace, but one day he's out going around and he sees his people. He sees a Hebrew being beaten by an Egyptian. Well, Moses tries to get involved and accidentally kills the Egyptian. And it gets back to Pharaoh. So the whole reason that Moses is in the wilderness in the first place is because he had made a mistake and accidentally killed someone. So Moses was a wanted murderer in Egypt. So you can imagine God telling him, "Hey, I want you to go back to this place where you have made your worst mistake. And now I want you to go demand to Pharaoh, who is the most powerful person in the world, to let my people go." Of course, Moses has an objection because Moses goes, "Who am I? Lord, why in the world would you ever choose me?" And I don't know if you've ever felt that way where you're just like, "God, why would you ever use me? Why would you ever choose someone like me who has these issues and these problems and these sins and these struggles? Why would you choose me?" And I love God's response. He doesn't even acknowledge all of Moses' faults or fears. He says, "Look, I will be with you." See, this time Moses was not going to have to do it in his own strength. This time, Moses would go not only in his strength, but he would go in the strength of God. And this made all the difference. We see Moses from this point on have an amazing relationship with God, and we get to see God's power through Moses' life. Ultimately, Moses leads the people out of slavery, and he ends up helping them get established to go into the future promised land. And so the thing that I want you to be encouraged with today is that just like Moses, God promises that he will be with us. I don't know what God has called you to do, but I guarantee you, it probably makes you feel like it is much bigger than yourself. It probably at times feels overwhelming, but the promise that we have from God is, "Hey, I know that I'm calling you to this assignment, but I promise I will be with you." So I just want to encourage you today with whatever it is that God has laid on your heart, that he will give you the strength to do it and he will see you through it. Church, thank you so much for being with us. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Please come back next week as we continue our daily devotionals.